Hey, Browns fans, coming to you live from Berea with our final practice report of both the week and the regular season, of course, as the Browns wrap up the 2023 regular season this weekend in Cincinnati against their in state rival, the Bengals. Spencer German with you as part of our Browns Digest coverage, and we're happy to give you the latest from Berea, including if you were hoping the Browns are going to make it through the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs unscathed on the injury front without any more of these injured reserve designations, unfortunately, today was not the day for you. Browns did announce about an hour ago that Anthony Walker Jr., veteran linebacker, who's a captain on this team, is headed to the IR to join some of his comrades, his teammates that have also been placed with that designation this season. It is another tough blow. On one hand, the Browns have been playing the last 3 weeks without him. He injured his knee sort of mysteriously on a Thursday at practice before that Bears game back in Week 15, and he's missed the 3 games since. He did have a knee scope the week after that, leading up to the Houston game on Christmas Eve. So where things stand with him is that he's now headed to the IR, ending his regular season. He would not be able to return for at least 4 weeks, which in kind of a bit of poetic with a bit of poeticness to it, if he were to be able to make a return at some point in this campaign, it would be in the Super Bowl. So if the Browns are able to make a run here, if they're able to do something and continue the magic that we've seen sort of down the stretch with Joe Flacco and all this and the great defense that they have, maybe just maybe you'll see Anthony Walker again. But obviously, that's going to be a ways off now that he heads to the IR. Along the lines of the injury front, with him going to the IR, he's obviously not playing this weekend. But there are a number of other players who will not play this weekend as well with injuries. Amari Cooper with that heel injury. Greg Newsome has been ruled out this weekend. Juan Thornhill, who popped up on the injury report today with another calf issue, did not practice. Those have kind of plagued him all season long. Kevin Stefanski was pretty clear that he wouldn't classify it as a re-aggravation of the calf injury he was dealing with prior, but still notable that they will be without one of their starting safeties yet again in Juan Thornhill. Granted, they've had some nice had some guys filling nicely, and Ronnie Hickman and of course D'Anthony Bell. So maybe they can kind of keep that up this weekend and get some rest for those guys as they turn the corner into the playoffs. Also out, Mike Ford Jr., reserve cornerback for the Browns, and kicker Dustin Hopkins has been ruled out yet again. So it will be more Riley Patterson this weekend for your Cleveland Browns. Questionable status for Sunday include Corey Bajorquez, so your punter, chance for him to return to action, Marquise Goodwin, linebacker Jordan Kanashik, and of course Elijah Moore. That one's notable because without Amari Cooper, he would be the next in line, as he did on that Thursday night game against the Jets to kind of take the bulk of the top wide receiver reps. And it would be nice to have him out there for this offense. That's certainly going to be shorthanded as they look to win their 12th game of the season. But we know what's at stake in this game. Relatively nothing for the Browns as they get ready for the postseason. They're locked into that 5 seed. It's going to be about more this weekend paying attention to games that don't involve the Browns than it is the game that actually involves the Browns, for the sole fact that we're kind of waiting to see who the Browns will play in the opening round of the playoffs in that wild card weekend. Right now, if it started today, it would be the Jaguars. They have a big matchup with the Titans. If they win that game, they stay in the 4th spot. That would be the Browns' first round matchup. But Saturday, tomorrow, we get that big Colts Texans matchup, which would basically decide who the other team that the Browns have a chance to play would be should the Jaguars lose their game on Sunday. So those are the big ones to pay attention to. And because the Browns have nothing to play for, and if in their world or in their realm of things, being locked in 5 seed like they are, that means we know, as it's been talked about all week, they're going to be sitting some players. One player, Kevin Stefanski gave us one. He leveled with us a little bit today on Friday. He named Myles Garrett as a player who will not suit up for Sunday. So you can cross him off your list. You won't see Myles out there. If he is to win Defensive Player of the Year, his case has already been made. What he's already produced is what it's going to be for him to try to win that award. But really, probably the right decision on behalf of Kevin Stefanski to put the MVP of the team by all accounts and put him in bubble wrap. He also did not practice on Friday. He was dealing with some soreness, is how Kevin Stefanski classified that one. So no Myles Garrett. We know from earlier in the week with naming that Jeff Driscoll will start at quarterback. that it's likely Joe Flacco doesn't see any action and doesn't dress for this game unless they really have him just kind of like that third string reserve role. But otherwise, it sounds like that's another player who you're not getting to, you will not see on Sunday. Flacco, Miles for sure. We'll see what else comes on Sunday in terms of guys that don't start, that are maybe healthy scratches, you could deem them, and we'll kind of go from there. Another quick note on a positive injury front, Oba Okoronkwo, who has practiced throughout this week, coming back from the pec injury that was considered potentially season ending at a point. Now he's worked his way back and has a chance to play. Spoke with him at his locker today, and he mentioned that he's hopeful, but he's got to kind of see how it goes over the next couple of days. So kind of a waiting game with him, but at the very least, it's a sign that he should be ready to go and suit up for the Browns come playoff time. And that's obviously encouraging. You lose Anthony Walker, but you got somebody in Obo Okoronkwo at the defensive end spot coming back. Potential that Grant Delpit could come back next week as well, as he's been on the IR the last few weeks. And so there's an opportunity here for the defense to actually get better and back to full strength, or closer to full strength, before the playoffs actually begin. One note from the Bengals side of things: T. Higgins, their number 2 wide receiver there, he is doubtful for Sunday, so unlikely, I would assume, that we will see him play for Cincinnati. One last thing, because I hit on this yesterday with you guys, and I want to come back to it because Jim Schwartz addressed, the situation involving how great he's been this year with his Browns defense and turning them around and the effort that he's given. And that, yeah, he's human. He does hope that he could pursue the highest position in this game that you could be as a coach, and that's a head coach of a team. And if something came along this offseason, he would consider it, despite the fact that he loves beating Cleveland. We played that clip for you yesterday. Well, today, Kevin Stefanski was asked about the idea that he could, in theory, lose his defensive coordinator and what that would mean. He raved about Schwartz first, but also provided some context into how he would handle that situation if it were to happen for Jim Schwartz.
Yeah, coach has done a great job. Really from day one with him to now, he's done everything that I've asked of him. He's been a great confidant for me, somebody I can walk in and talk to and bounce a lot of things off of him just with his history. He's been a head coach, he's been a coordinator, he's won Super Bowl. So he's just been invaluable to me. And then obviously you look at our defense and the way we've played. That's a big part of Jim and this coaching staff. I think those guys have done a great job. But Jim's right there leading the way. And, it's been so impressive, but I'm excited that I just get to work with him every day. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the NFL. You have success and then you may lose coaches, but in a lot of ways, that's a great thing for that coach and for an organization. I really like a lot of our coach. I like all of our coaches. So they're doing a great job. But when it comes to those opportunities, if that's something that comes about, I'll be excited for any of our coaches, including.
As you'd expect from Kevin Stefanski, he's rooting for his guys to get jobs and do other things and have success, even if it's not with him. But the fact that he raved about just the work he's done and being able to have him here, and really just the decision to make a change at defensive coordinator, speaks a lot to Kevin Stefanski's ability and efforts to turn this team around, turn that defense around from a season ago. And that has obviously been the case. If this team is going to make a run at a championship, at a Super Bowl here in the coming weeks, it's going to be because Jim Schwartz has shaped the identity of that unit. He's shaped the culture of this franchise and this team, and his presence will be felt whether he's here next year or not. But it's not something we have to worry about right now for Browns fans. That's something that's coming maybe down the pike here in the next couple of weeks if he interviews for jobs and whatnot. But in the meantime, Browns are focused on wrapping up the regular season, finishing strong. If they get a 12th win on Sunday, it would be just the second time that they finished with 12 wins since being since 1986. You have to go back to 1986, the year that the season ended in the playoffs in the AFC Championship game against the Denver Broncos and John Elway in the drive to find the last time the Browns finished with 12 wins in the season. So there is a little bit of something to play for. We know Kevin Stefanski has said that they're going to come out and try to finish the season strong. We'll see if they get the job done with the playoffs, obviously, on the horizon, waiting 1 week after this one. So appreciate you guys jumping on in. As always, you can follow along with all things Cleveland Browns over on the Browns Digest YouTube page. And as always, at brownsdigest.com.